Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with iTrack. As usual, let me give a big shout out to all the iTrack fam and all the new subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for tapping in. If this is your first time here, what we'd like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
The Red Heer. Yo, this is wild. It's written for the temple to be rebuilt. That ushers in the end times. All the tools that they use within the temple need to be cleansed. In order to do that, they sacrifice a red heifer. There's only been 9 red heifers ever sacrificed. The last red heifer to have been sacrificed was 2,000 years ago. A cattle rancher in Texas got invited with these rabbis to go look for red heifer. They found 5. The process was insane. They can never have been yoked. No one could have leaned on them. That's why it's been 2,000 years. They determined we finally found them. These 5 heifers are in Israel right now being like protected and guarded. They have 9 months to sacrifice this red heifer because they can't be older than 3 years old. He's basically saying like if this happens, you know we're now in the trajectory of this end times prophecy stuff. What's crazy too, with each sacrifice, they always mix the ashes of the previous red heifers. When they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, they also found a jar that had the previous 9 red heifers' ashes in it. Weird. Dating back to Moses.
I think the creepiest thing about this video is the last video I just put up. There was a guy in Times Square looking at like the countdown clock, and he was speaking on the red heifers. So that kind of like connects dots right there. That's pretty creepy.
Getting information through physical means. Beta programming is 80% of women, and there are 20% of men, which is also programming. Giving and receiving information through actual means. So a spy would be able to meet up with somebody, have sex with them, and then download the information that was necessary from the person to collect it into their cells and go back to whoever you are working for, have sex with this person, and then download the information to this person. So it is all done through that means.
Now how do they do the download?
Okay, so as soon as the act done, then the 2 energy fields of the people merge. If you are shown or trained in a specific way, most often unconsciously, then this information is then downloaded to the energy field of that person. And then you can be hooked up to a machine, or you can have somebody else, and then that person gets the information.
Very effective.
It's very effective because nobody thinks that that is the way that it's done.
And
Absolutely.
Then the whole point is that the actual person themselves doesn't know that they've got the information.
Yeah, absolutely. Most often.
There was an advanced civilization that had certain technologies, and that some of the recent history is bullshit. The World's Fair, there in the 1900s, there's some really weird shit around that.
Like what?
The structures that they built, the technologies that were used in some of the architecture, and how some of that architecture isn't standard with many of the other buildings of the same era, what they were doing on top with free energy possibly on some of these buildings.
So like free energy, like Tesla, what Tesla?
Like they were able to extract energy from the atmosphere, electricity for everybody. I think they had mercury in these kind of balls on top of the buildings, and they figured out a way to extract energy just from the air.
Something was different. I'm sure they had something, because they do find things that are indicative of drills, diamond tip drills, because they've cored
stuff that we can barely do. Yeah,
the whole thing is nuts. It's not primitive people. It's super advanced people that did that.
Have you looked into the Tartarian?
Joe Rogan has an encyclopedia worth of information because of the variety of his guests.
It's easier to live when you have goals to meet. You understand? If you have goals to meet, then you don't feel so voided, and you understand why every day you're looking at this person in the mirror, because that is the cool part about the game. You get to be anybody you want to be.
All right, listen, I want to say one thing. Everybody here has a dream, right? Yeah. Everybody? Every single person in here. Raise your hand if you have a dream. Make sure you follow your dreams. Fuck what anybody else tells you to do. Follow your dreams. You hear me? Follow your fucking dreams. Everyone have a good day, alright? I appreciate and love all of you, and I believe in you all. Do not let your depression make you. Do not let your body define your soul. Let your soul define your body. Your mind is limitless. You are worth more than you could believe. All you have to do is dream, and all you have to do is want to fulfill that dream and have the strength to fulfill that dream. Pain is a sign of progress. When you feel pain, there is progress. I love you all.
John F. Kennedy, born on the 29th, he's a 7th life path, born in the year of the snake. Those type of energies basically tell me he would be into numerology and astrology. What makes me know he was into numerology and astrology was the fact that he signed Executive Order 11110, 1111, 110. He waited to that executive order. He signed it at 6/4/1963, as of the 29th, 2911. So he signed Executive Order 1111 on 11 day. He's born on the 29th, 2911, and that stripped the Federal Reserve of the power to print money. What happened to him 6 months later? He died. And Lyndon Johnson, the guy who replaced him, before the body was even cold, his first act as president, repeal Executive Order 11110. Give the Fed back their power. Is that a conspiracy? No, that's a fact. John F. Kennedy, born on the 29th, he's a 7th life path, born in the year of the snake. Those type of energies basically tell me he would be into numerology and astrology. What makes me know he was into numerology and astrology was the fact that he signed Executive Order 11110, 1111, 110. He waited to that executive order. He signed it at 6/4/1963, as of the 29th, 29th.
There definitely has to be something to that. I mean, if his body wasn't even cold and they reversed his treaty, come on.
Believe it or not, in Japan, the first restaurant offering human meat will be opened. Curious facts you didn't know. Believe it or not, several people have claimed that the taste of human flesh is similar to that of pork. Your brain doesn't know what comes after death, so that's exactly why you wake up when you're about to die in a dream. It may seem bizarre, but in India, some people use their own urine as a mouthwash. About 87% of the people you like talk bad about you behind your back, and today, someone you like spoke ill of you. It's the third person that appears when you press the green icon down there, swipe everything to the right, and go to the option More. There will be the person. You would never know that on average, a person farts about 16 times a day. This means that over your lifetime, you'll release over 55,100 liters of gas, enough to fill 5,500 party balloons. In a country called Kiribati, it's common for brothers to marry the same woman. There, it's accepted as normal. The probability of you having drunk water that has already passed through a dinosaur is almost 100%. 1 in every 10 people shares the same last name as you. What's your last name? See in the comments also who has the same as you.
The more you know.
Yes, it's NASA picture.
Okay.
What would you say to this?
I'd say any NASA picture was lies.
Military bases, yes?
That Mars is 100% occupied, owned, used.
By whom?
Fourth Reich, hybrid reptoid sort of beings. The moon is also colonized. It has the soul harvesting system.
Many people don't know that Nazis actually didn't lose the war.
Yes.
And they have their bases in Antarctica. Are they going to show up?
Well, they already are.
Yes.
We don't see them. People with their eyes open, they
Yes.
do. It's absolutely everywhere. But if you're still under sort of like the spell, you don't. But it's everywhere.
Take a look at this, you guys. This is in Mexico. This guy was walking home last night and he caught what appears to be a face in the sky, y'all. Look at that, y'all. It looks like a female's face. Look at this. Did that just blink? Look, it just blinked. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit for y'all. Just a little bit. But yeah, yep. That's her blinking. Yeah, man. What do y'all think? That's crazy, man. But this is in Mexico, y'all. Oh, wow. Even clearer. What is going on? Now, again, this might be Project Bluebeam. We have no idea, but you can't be dismissing things, y'all, because you see a whole bunch of things taking place on the earth right now that has never taken place before. So you got to be very open-minded. But this is crazy, y'all. It's like a huge superhero looking at us.
I mean, there definitely was some kind of face up there, but I wouldn't know how to go about describing it other than Project Bluebeam.
I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this for anything. This does nothing for my fight. This is just me. There's a lot of eyes on me. And I'm bringing awareness for the kids, the little kids that are hurting. I know you guys seen that video. I'm not even going to say the name. My why, last fight was for my son, Henry. I wanted to fight for him, and that's what I give the fight to. This time, it's for the children around the world. A lot of people, you got to understand the pressure I have. I got a lot of people that told me not to do this, that it's going to get bad for me. I don't care. I live for God. I don't live for anybody else. The rules of satanic worship is it needs to be in your plain sight. That's all I'm going to say. So everything that I'm saying is right in front of your face. You're not doing anything about it. I'm screaming to the world, putting my reputation on the line. I got people wanting to cancel the fight. People telling me I need to go to a mental rehab to put me into the psych ward because I'm speaking the truth. Please help me and you help the children. Have I asked for $1 from any of you guys? Have I made $1 from anything I'm saying?
It's crazy that you lost money for speaking the truth and trying to save children. What sane world do we live in?
It's insanity for telling the truth now in a world full of lies.
Picture ego as a demon. Alright? Picture.
You ain't gonna sit here and tell me that you don't have any ego.
How would I if I shaved off my fucking eyebrows and made myself ugly as a lesson? I made myself ugly as a lesson. I destroyed my sense of character as a lesson.
I don't know if that's ego or if it's like an image type of thing.
It's not an image. It was me destroying my previous self. Everyone was attached to this black and yellow hair and this attractive mugshot that made me be perceived as a beautiful person. I destroyed that person and turned into someone else that was perceived as ugly. But I wasn't ugly inside. I was only ugly on the outside.
So were you doing that for the people who perceived you as that, or were you?
I was doing it for everyone. I was doing it for them. I was doing it for myself because I was the next step.
Elon Musk has given an update on the first patient to be implanted with that brain chip from his Neuralink startup. During a live event on X, Elon Musk said the patient is now fully recovered and able to move a mouse cursor around a screen just by thinking. A robot implanted the chip into the area of the brain which controls movement. The first goal of the project is for people to control a cursor or keyboard with their thoughts. Elon Musk says the technology can eventually fully connect the brain to devices.
I still can't get with that, implanting the chip in the brain. I'm not sure that I'll ever be able to get with that. But, if that's something you're into, shout out to you.
My heart is beating so fast.
I think that the world is trying to tell us something.
It's just come up and stuck its tail up and it's not going anywhere. I don't even know what to say. What the hell? I don't want to get too close. Look at that. This is the craziest thing that's ever happened. The transparent kayak is making the whales act so weird. It's just come up and put its tail up in the air like that. It's not even, I don't even know what to say anymore. Oh, and the little baby's just swimming around it. Look at it, there's a huge whale tail right in front of me.
I don't think it was his boat. I think that these animals are trying to tell us something, Look, yo. It look like they trying to tell us something, bro. Something's just not right. Wake up!
I'm not sure how current that video is, but that is just a little bit eerie to see a whale do that. Or maybe he's just trying to say hi. I don't know. If you know something I don't, let me know.
John Cena actually Jim Carrey? People are starting to believe Jim Carrey plays the role of many different celebrities behind a mask. Many people think that John Cena died in a car accident back in July 2016. This was also around the time when John Cena completely changed his look and suddenly had a Jim Carrey hint to him. Not just this, but his voice has slipped up many times, sounding much like Jim.
Or is it genius?
Some think that John is simply Jim Carrey wearing a bodysuit and is a fictional character. This would explain Jim Carrey disappearing from Hollywood in 2016 as well. They took this photo together after the conspiracies came out. This was believed to be nothing but a damage control photo so they could put this theory to rest. This would make sense why Jim Carrey starred in the movie The Mask and John starred in Ricky Stenicki. They were throwing it in our faces all along. Jim is believed to play more fictional characters of Hollywood than just Cena. Follow if you think this is insane.
Jim Carrey is gone, actually never existed.
I mean, that's just something I'm not buying. I mean, Jim Carrey is rich. There's no need for him to put on all these prosthetics and wear, all this heavy makeup and stuff like that. There's no point in it. He doesn't need to put himself through that.
This week, the relative humidity in China hit a staggering 100%. And honestly, I've never seen anything like it. Videos are coming out of people showing their walls and ceilings absolutely drenched, while others had to use window scrapers and even hair dryers to try and remove the condensation. Some people even had to sleep with umbrellas because even if you scrape off the water, it soon comes right back and starts dripping on you while you sleep. The red paint on the Lunar New Year's posters were completely soaked and started dripping, making the walls and floor look like a freaking crime scene. People couldn't get in their homes because the doors that use fingerprint recognition stopped working, and it was even turning bags of chips back into mashed potato. And what's crazy is that this kind of weather usually occurs later in the year when it gets warmer, but it's only March, and with the 100% humidity, it hit a sweltering 30 degrees Celsius, with residents saying that it's the worst they've experienced in decades. And this comes as February became the hottest month globally on record, marking the 9th month in a row that global heat records have been smashed.
Some parts of China are like absolutely freezing. Like I'm talking about record lows, and then some parts of China are like record highs. That's pretty wild.
Were rings around the earth, different colored rings around the earth. And this thing pointed out each one of these was thought prisons, were a thought prison. And there was a thing, it looked like a gargoyle, but it was as big as this room and had black wings, like bat wings. Picked me up like this, pulled me back away from the earth like that, so I saw the earth. There were rings around the earth, different colored rings around the earth. This thing pointed out each one of these was thought prisons, were a thought prison. He said, it doesn't matter which one of the people on this planet get caught up. It doesn't matter which thought prison they get caught up in. Whether it's Scientology, whether it's Christianity, whether it's atheism, it doesn't make any difference. As long as you are magnetically drawn to one of them, we have you. And he explained how all the thought prisons were layered around the planet. And he explained how they were made.
How were they made?
They were made with the will of the creator beings that wants to keep this place together.
So that is the will of the Archon, or what? Is her name? Or does it make any difference if there's a name?
The ones who I was talking to were connected to the Alpha Draconis star system. And I do believe that the Aldebaran group and that the Alpha Draconis group are at war. It's been an ongoing war for eons and eons and eons. The Aldebaran group, which is the bullseye in the Taurus constellation, where you see the left red eye, that's why you have this symbol all the time. It's an acknowledgement to the Aldebaran people. It's called the Royal Star. All of the British royal family are directly connected to the Aldebaran group.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the third world country, England, where there's no electric or nothing. Ender times. We are living ender times. There's no electric. The whole of England is the cut power. They did warn us, and now we are living in ender times. Welcome to the third world country.
You sleep for 7 or 8 hours, you're going to spend 3 hours. This is medical studies now. This is hard neuroscience now. We've known this since the 1950s when we discovered the 4 brainwaves. You spend 3 hours out of the body into the 5th dimension. The question is, where do you go? Most people, because they don't know what they're doing, or because they're arguing with their wife, or they're worrying about problems, or because they had too many drugs, they go to the lower astral plane. That's a very bad neighborhood. Like hell? Well, except you can get out of it. Yeah. So it's like purgatory. Okay? Purgatory, okay. Whereas if you use the techniques I described, and psychic protection techniques and more positive things, you can leave through the crown chakra, not through the 3rd chakra, which will take you to the lower astral. If you go to the crown chakra, which is where you want to go, now you go to the upper astral plane, or the causal, mental, etheric, or even soul plane. Those are all positive dimensions. Okay? The only 2 negative dimensions are the lower astral plane and this one. We have a lot of problems here. But the other dimensions are all positive. And each dimension has a sound and certain characteristics that are relevant to it. For example, if you're out of the body and you hear the roar of the sea, you're on the astral plane. If you hear the tinkling of bells like in a New Age bookstore, now you're on the causal plane where the Akashic records are stored. If you hear the sound of running water, you're on the mental plane. And if you hear the buzzing of bees, you're on the etheric plane. Or if you hear the sound of a flute, you're on the soul plane.
And I looked at all four of them and I said, are y'all crazy? I said, what you think I'm going to do? Tell you that Michael did something bad so that we can sue him for money? That's what I told him. I was like, and I looked over at my mom and I was like, are you serious, Mom? I was like, what is going on here? Why are you letting this happen? And she goes, well, I think something happened. I think something. I'm like, really? That man did nothing but be hospitable, kind, loving, giving, everything you could think of. We rode 4-wheelers for 5 hours, me, him, and Chris Tucker in the mountains at nighttime after his birthday party. Him and I hung out and talked pretty much all night. Got a couple hours of sleep. I wake up. He's not even in the room. He pulled out a cot for me in his room because I asked him, I was like, I want to hang out with you. I want to be around. It was Michael. Yeah. I want to hang out with him. I wanted to hang out with Michael. He pulled out a little cot or something. I laid on the cot. I wake up in the morning. His bed's made. There's a cleaning lady that wakes me up. I keep asking, where's Michael? I go over. He's got this huge statue figurine that Michael Jordan sent him for his birthday because he collected that stuff. Went and smoked some weed with him. Get in the car. And then all this shit happened when I got back to LA and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I was like, I looked at my mom. I go, are you really trying to go at Michael and use me for a money grab? I was like, nothing. And I looked at him right now. I said, nothing happened. I said, Michael was flirting with girls right in front of me. Actually.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious because he was very charming.
I bet. It's Michael Jackson.
he made girls just light up, blush. And I saw him looking at girls' booty. I said, I saw you looking at her booty. He was like, I was like, and so I hear these stories of like Wade Robson. And then I'm like thinking to myself, wait, hold up. I know Wade Robson. And I'm like, wait, hold up. Wade leaving Neverland? What is this? Like, what do you mean leaving Neverland? Like, I left Neverland. Everything was cool, homie. Like, what's your problem? Did you dream this up? Did your parents tell you to do this?
Yeah, I mean, they try to sue for like $100 million and ultimately it was dropped. They got nothing out of it, as they should.
Nothing. That dude didn't do shit like that.
Yeah.
Like I knew Michael better than all of them.
Yeah, I believe
even
everything
Macaulay,
that I've seen.
If it was Macaulay right now,
I'm not buying it.
Even if it was Macaulay Culkin sitting right here, he would tell you the same thing I did with the same assertiveness.
All right, so within those docs, and this is where it gets relevant, there is one man that is named as being the person that can do the cleanups, right? This is the guy that you are supposed to call if you get into any sort of a scenario. So in these docs, it says, Mr. Combs instructs his staff to always contact Mr. Muhammad, that is Fahim Muhammad, if they are ever pulled over by the police in Miami or California. And upon information and belief, this is regarding the shooting that took place at Chalice Recording Studios. Again, he is alleging that Diddy and his son shot someone. And after that shooting, the documents say explicitly that Mr. Muhammad spoke with the LAPD after G was shot at the recording studio. The LAPD was in the recording studio and witnessed the blood in the restroom, and they went with the bogus claim that the shooting of G occurred outside of the studio. This was all thanks to Mr. Muhammad's connections within law enforcement. So again, what we are seeing there is that you call this guy and this guy will make it disappear and the media will report whatever the incident is in a capacity that covers up the crime, allegedly. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The cleanup guy, Mr. Fahim Muhammad, was also on the scene when Michael Jackson died. So I want to introduce you to and allow you to listen to Ian Carroll. He's an independent journalist that is investigating everything that is going on, and he explains that connection that Fahim has with Michael Jackson. Take a listen.
So this new lawsuit just came out that shows tons of evidence that P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, has been running a sexual blackmail operation very much like Jeffrey Epstein, but in the rap and music industry for basically 30 years. And in that lawsuit, we learned that his head of security while he's running the sexual blackmail ring is this guy named Fahim Muhammad, who before working for Diddy was the head of security for Michael Jackson when he was only 21. And he was one of the first people on the scene when Michael Jackson died. And before we go to Michael Jackson, the most important part of the Diddy case to bring across is the fact that the record executives at the very top knew what P. Diddy was doing. They were attending the parties with underage girls where they were spiking drinks. They were deeply involved in Diddy's personal life, and all evidence points to them supporting his operation, or at the very least turning a blind eye to it.
So yes, this is obviously huge. It's also potentially terrifying. And now if you want to be rational and use the rational side of your brain, you just go, okay, well, this could just be a coincidence, right? Like Fahim Muhammad, he is in security. And yes, he obviously is high up in security. He was providing security to Michael Jackson. He happened to die on his watch. Big deal, right? Big deal. Well, I think that would lead us to the question of who exactly is Fahim Muhammad, because that's kind of a big first job to have. You're 21 years old and you're protecting the king of pop. What exactly are his qualifications? Let's go back to Ian Carroll and his reporting.
And now, here's the best part. Check this out. This is in all of his bios, by the way, but we're pointing it out now. In 2008, Fahim graduated from Sacramento State University with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Administration with a concentration in real estate and marketing. Okay? Do you realize what's wrong with that yet? Anything coming to mind? When did Michael Jackson die? June 25th, 2009. Jackson died from cardiac arrest caused by a propofol and benzodiazepine overdose, caused by his doctor apparently. Hold up. Hold the phone. Pause. Why is a dude who just graduated college last year with a business and real estate degree the head of security for the king of pop, for Michael Jackson, the most famous musician of all time?
Yeah, that is remarkably suspicious. And if we had a media that was interested in actually presenting the truth and not just propagandizing on behalf of the state, they would probably explore and look deeper into who this character is. But of course, that's not what the media does. Instead, they are meant to convince people of certain narratives. And like I said in the past, I've been a victim to that. I was obviously very young when everything was going on with Michael Jackson, and I believed the media, which is why I was kind of stunned to kind of go back and revisit the Michael Jackson case. And Ian has extensively unpacked that, revealing, and I did not know this, maybe perhaps because the media wasn't interested in telling us the end result. But yes, the FBI raided Michael Jackson's home. They poured through hours upon hours of the video footage that he had, other materials, documents that were in his house, trying to find this connection to Michael Jackson and potential child abuse. And what ended up being the result was that they could not find a single shred of proof that Michael Jackson had abused any children. And yet, despite this, the media convinced us that he was a pedophile, or maybe they didn't convince you, but they definitely did a good job convincing me that Michael Jackson was a pedophile. And to be clear, maybe it's perhaps the lack of evidence that was ever uncovered. Michael Jackson was found not guilty of all of the charges that were brought against him.
Well, you guys, that's another one in the books. I appreciate you guys for stopping by like you always do and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already part of the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.